I've had atopic dermatitis since I was born, and it has affected my family my entire childhood. Although atopic dermatitis is generally overlooked, there is an unmet need for future research. By understanding current atopic dermatitis findings, we can begin to better understand treatments and interventions. Atopic dermatitis is cutaneous or relating to skin, and it is one of the most common integumentary or skin conditions, as it extremely affects a patient's quality of life. Atopic means a tendency towards allergy responses, while dermatitis is defined as skin irritations. Atopic dermatitis is chronic, relapsing, and a serious health concern as it affects 10% of the U.S. population. It can manifest in early childhood, yet develop into late adulthood as there is no definitive cure. Complex symptoms include pruritus, redness, cracking, swelling, scaliness, and oozing plasma of the skin. An interplay between gene and gene-environment factors are related to atopic dermatitis. Epidermal barrier dysfunction and immune response dysregulation is attributed to atopic dermatitis. Mechanisms in regular skin homeostasis are affected, allowing environmental faucets, allergens, and irritants to exacerbate atopic dermatitis symptoms. Our skin has 4 layers. The epidermis is the top layer of our skin, and the majority of these epidermal surface skin cells are called keratinocytes, which make up the stratum corneum, the epidermal surface. Filaggrin is a protein that binds together these epidermal filaments and produces less transepidermal water loss. Filaggrin amino acids include glutamine, arginine, and histamine, which are skin moisturizing agents. People with filaggrin gene mutations are at risk for atopic dermatitis, and with filaggrin deficiency, keratinocytes are further apart and therefore less impermeable. Many factors of water loss have been attributed to atopic dermatitis diagnosis. Lack of lipids, specifically ceramides, and structural proteins are linked to atopic dermatitis causation. A few barrier cells have been identified to have atopic dermatitis correlations. CTIP2 is a protein which was recently identified in water osmosis into epithelial cells. It maintains skin barrier and is important in skin lipid metabolism and hydrates the skin. In lesional skin scans of atopic dermatitis, CTIP2 is downregulated. Claudins are a tight junction protein which has deficiencies in atopic dermatitis. This causes dermal inflammatory triggers. Lastly, the epidermal layer and its protective barrier formation is non-functional. Experimental results from a 2000 research study by the Swiss Institute of Allergy and Asthma Research show lack of apoptosis, or regulated skin cell death, which evolves into epidermal proliferation. This is how dry skin is a characteristic of atopic dermatitis. Too many skin cells thickens the skin barrier, called hyperplasia, yet it is still fragile and susceptible to bacteria colony invasions. Another etiology angle of atopic dermatitis is immune response dysregulation. T helper cell imbalances play a key role. T helper 2s are a specialized T helper that will generate T helper effectors and memories when a pathogen is activated. T helper 2 and 22 characterizes allergy symptoms. T cells are allergen specific and produce different interleukins or cytokines, also known as immune alarm bells. Depending on the chronic or relapsing state of atopic dermatitis, then interleukins 4, 5, and 13 are found. High unnatural chemokines are expressed. The skin's hypersensitivity reacts to environmental irritants. A porous epidermal barrier allows irritants to easily cross our first-line defense barrier to an immune cell. The immune cell then cuts up the allergen and presents it to be tagged by a memory cell. Naive or never been activated before T helpers become a specialized T helper 2 cell. The B cell from the T helper 2 starts producing immunoglobulin, or an antibody against the infiltrated allergen. Immune cells below the hypodermis, like a mast cell or basophil, pick up the immunoglobulin in a process called sensitization. When different allergens come in contact, immunoglobulin is produced at abnormal rates, releasing chemicals that cause and worsen atopic dermatitis symptoms. Other immune cells, like Langerhans or dendritic cells, secrete T helper 2 responses, and more cytokines are released as toll-like receptor proteins are activated. This immune reaction calls for more inflammatory skin cells. The pro-inflammatory molecules of cytokines, like histamine or proteases, cause nearby blood vessels to expand. These punctured blood vessels bring targeting immune cells to certain sensitive skin tissue areas, which weakens the skin as allergens are allowed in and water loss is heightened. Our skin becomes scaly, and the scaliness promotes pruritus or itching. This mechanical injury further damages the skin environment, making it suitable for bacteria to invade. Atopic dermatitis is frustrating and restricting, and negatively impacts many aspects of life. Sleep disturbance, family lifestyle differences, special clothing or bedding needs, inability to do certain activities, and ostracism by peers are only a few of the obstacles that atopic dermatitis patients face. Atopic dermatitis is extremely personal to me as something that I grew up with and had to overcome. Skin is how we interact with humanity. Our skin speaks before many things and is vital to life processes like homeostasis. Unfortunately, out of all other human phenotypes, society judges on skin. Skin is not just about appearances or cosmetics, however, but about being the most honest and true version of yourself. My brother Bryant fights atopic dermatitis on a daily basis. Every day before school, he takes an ice-cold bath and lathers on eczema relief cream, moisturizer, eucrisa, and petrolatum ointment. Before bed is another round of this extensive skin routine. At night, wet cloth wraps are used to hydrate his skin and keep moisture in, and mittens go over his hands as to promote not itching. Every hour he scratches his scalp as a sign of seborrheic dermatitis as well. My interest in dermatology and my personal connection has led me to pursue medical doctor pathways in order to help people feel good in their own skin. Atopic dermatitis varies in the genetic factors as seen between my atopic dermatitis and my brother's. I only have hyperpigmentation, while he deals with so much more severe extreme eczema. Sleep disturbance affects Brian as if he can't find peace within his body. He has withdrawals from no steroid use, and this journey is still happening every day. The emotional stress and lack of support is crippling. My firsthand experience has taught me that atopic dermatitis suffering is intense. And my personal connections and circumstances has led me to research extensively about atopic dermatitis and the future agenda for interventions. When scientists understand the biomarkers of atopic dermatitis, new pharmaceutical avenues can be approached because the complex factors are difficult to clinically measure. All factors of skin barrier dysfunction and dysregulated immune responses must be taken into consideration. On the cellular and molecular basis, there is only an intermediate definition. A wide population is affected by atopic dermatitis, but there has been slow experimentation. We need better and new treatment of non-steroid and effective drugs, and this knowledge is necessary. By understanding how cause affects symptom phenotypes, we can understand how medications should target underlying dysfunctions that lead to atopic dermatitis. So, I implore us all to care and to find a cure for atopic dermatitis. An astonishingly high percentage of disease is incurable, and every step we take closer to a cure matters. We are currently on a crossroads of history where we have the resources to research intensively and extensively in order to cure atopic dermatitis. Now, I call on all skin scientists to intensively study atopic dermatitis. Do it for all the single mothers, those who are financially unstable, the immigrants, and the people of color out there that don't have the capability to help with their child's atopic dermatitis. Thank you.